Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Joseph. He lived in the land of Canaan with his father Jacob and his 11 brothers. Joseph was different from his brothers in many ways, but one thing stood out. His father loved him the most. One day, Jacob gave Joseph a special gift, a beautiful coat of many colors. It was a sign of his deep love for Joseph. But Joseph's brothers weren't happy about this. They felt jealous and angry, wondering why their father treated him better than the rest. Joseph wasn't just loved for his coat, he also had special dreams that seemed to show he would one day rule over his brothers. In my dream, we were in the field tying up bundles of wheat. Suddenly my bundle stood tall and all of your bundles bowed down to mine. When Joseph shared his dream with his brothers, it only made them angrier. "Are you saying you will rule over us?" they shouted. Even though they were upset, Joseph had another dream. In my second dream, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to me. Even his father, Jacob, was puzzled by this dream. "Do you really think your mother, your brothers, and I will bow down to you?" he asked. But deep inside, Jacob wondered what the dreams might mean. Joseph's brothers were filled with jealousy. They couldn't stand the thought of Joseph being their ruler, and they began to plan something terrible. Little did Joseph know, his brothers' jealousy would lead him on a journey that would change not only his life, but the lives of his entire family. As the sun rose on a brand new day, Joseph felt excited and brave. Little did he know, his adventures were just about to begin. While Joseph enjoyed his day in the fields, his brothers were making a plan that would change everything. They decided to surprise Joseph when he came closer, thinking it would teach him a lesson. When Joseph arrived, his brothers jumped out and grabbed him. They were so angry that they took away his beautiful coat. Joseph felt scared and confused while his brothers tossed his coat into a deep pit where it would be forgotten. As Joseph peered into the pit, he realized how lonely he felt. His brothers suddenly understood that their actions weren't right. The brothers whispered among themselves, feeling a mix of guilt and anger. They struggled to decide what to do next with their brother. Just then, a traveling caravan came by, full of interesting people and goods. Joseph felt a spark of hope as he saw them approaching. Joseph waved his arms excitedly, hoping someone would notice him. His brothers, surprised by the caravan's arrival, began to think of another plan. The brothers huddled together, debating whether they should sell Joseph to the travelers. They felt it was better than letting him stay in the pit. After some discussion, the brothers agreed to sell Joseph to the caravan. Joseph's heart sank as he was pulled from the pit, unsure of what would happen next. As the caravan moved away, Joseph looked back at his brothers, hoping they had changed their minds. His brothers stood together, feeling both relief and regret for what they had done. In the caravan, Joseph felt sad, but also curious about what lay ahead. The caravan members noticed his sadness and tried to cheer him up with smiles and stories. As the caravan travelled through the beautiful desert landscape, Joseph gazed out at the vast scenery. He felt a mix of wonder and uncertainty about his new adventure. At night, the caravan set up camp under the twinkling stars. Joseph sat by the warm fire, listening to the stories of the caravan members, feeling a little more at home. The caravan members shared food and laughter around the fire, creating a cheerful atmosphere. Joseph smiled, feeling more included and starting to forget his worries. The next day, the caravan continued their journey, and Joseph rode happily on a camel. In the distance, he could see a bustling marketplace filled with colours and excitement. As they approached the marketplace, Joseph gazed in awe at the vibrant sights and sounds. The caravan members began unpacking supplies, ready to explore the exciting new place. Once they arrived, Joseph stepped off the camel and looked around at all the colourful stalls. Vendors smiled and called out to customers, showcasing their wonderful goods. Joseph excitedly explored the market, pointing at delicious fruits and shiny trinkets. A friendly vendor noticed him and offered Joseph a sweet treat with a warm smile. With a big smile, Joseph accepted the sweet treat and savoured its wonderful flavour. The other caravan members joined him, enjoying their own special purchases. As the day went on, Joseph joined the caravan members in laughter, sharing stories about their adventures. The sun began to set beautifully over the bustling marketplace, painting the sky with colours. As the caravan prepared to leave the marketplace with their new treasures, Joseph looked back with excitement and joy. He realised that this adventure was just the beginning of many more. Joseph was taken to Egypt, far from his family and home, and sold to Potiphar, a high-ranking official in Pharaoh's court. Even though Joseph was a slave, God was with him, and he quickly earned Potiphar's trust. Potiphar saw that Joseph was wise and blessed in everything he did. He put Joseph in charge of his entire household, and soon everything Joseph touched prospered. But one day, Potiphar's wife tried to make Joseph do something wrong. When he refused, she lied about him, accusing him of attacking her. Although Joseph was innocent, Potiphar believed his wife and had Joseph thrown into prison. But even there, God was with Joseph. In prison, Joseph's wisdom and integrity impressed the prison warden, and he soon put Joseph in charge of the other prisoners. One day, two of Pharaoh's servants, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, were sent to the same prison as Joseph. Both men had strange dreams that troubled them. Joseph, with God's help, offered to interpret them. Joseph, to the cupbearer, "In 3 days you will be restored to your position as Pharaoh's cupbearer." Joseph, to the baker, "In 3 days you will be executed." Just as Joseph had said, the dreams came true. The cupbearer was restored to his position, but the baker was executed. Joseph, to the cupbearer, "When you are restored, please remember me and help me get out of this prison." But the cupbearer forgot about Joseph, and 2 years passed. One night, Pharaoh had troubling dreams. In his first dream, he saw 7 healthy cows being eaten by 7 thin cows. In his second dream, 7 healthy heads of grain were swallowed up by 7 thin, withered ones. No one in Pharaoh's court could interpret the dreams. Then the cupbearer remembered Joseph and told Pharaoh about his ability to interpret dreams. Joseph was quickly summoned to Pharaoh. He explained that the dreams were a warning from God. There would be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. Joseph, to Pharaoh, "You must store up food during the 7 good years to prepare for the 7 bad years." Pharaoh was amazed by Joseph's wisdom. He put Joseph in charge of all of Egypt, second only to Pharaoh himself. Joseph went from prisoner to prince, overseeing the storage of grain during the good years. Thanks to Joseph's leadership, Egypt was ready when the famine came. People from all over came to Egypt to buy food, and Joseph became one of the most important men in the kingdom. Joseph became known as a hero in Egypt, helping everyone during the tough times and ensuring they had enough to eat. Eventually, Joseph's family heard that there was food in Egypt. When they arrived, Joseph welcomed them with open arms, reuniting joyfully. Joseph forgave his brothers for what they had done, and they rejoiced together, sharing stories and celebrating their newfound love. With Joseph's guidance, Egypt flourished and grew stronger. Together, he and Pharaoh led the kingdom into a bright future filled with hope and prosperity. Joseph became a beloved leader, known for his kindness and wisdom. He shared his journey with everyone, inspiring hope and joy across the land. And so, Joseph lived happily in Egypt, surrounded by family and friends, grateful for the second chance he had been given. Joseph's story became a legend, teaching everyone about forgiveness, faith, and the power of dreams, and they all lived happily ever after. And so, the tale of Joseph spread far and wide, inspiring children and adults alike to believe in themselves and their dreams. Joseph's story continued to be told, bringing joy to many hearts and reminding everyone that love and kindness can change the world. Every year, schools held special plays and storytelling events celebrating Joseph's incredible journey and the lessons it taught. Children used their creativity to express their love for Joseph's tale through art, filling their classrooms with colourful masterpieces. Libraries were filled with stories of Joseph's bravery, encouraging kids to read and dream big, just like him. Communities came together to celebrate dreams, inspired by Joseph's journey, where everyone was encouraged to believe in themselves. In schools, children dreamed big and shared their aspirations, feeling empowered by Joseph's story, which taught them that anything is possible. Festivals were held in honor of Joseph, celebrating the importance of kindness, forgiveness, and the power of dreams in everyone's life. In parks and gardens, children learned about growing both plants and dreams, inspired by Joseph's journey of nurturing and hope. Everywhere, kids were inspired by Joseph's story, sharing lessons on kindness and the importance of believing in oneself. At night, children drifted off to sleep with dreams of greatness, inspired by Joseph's adventures and the belief that they too could achieve anything. Families gathered to share Joseph's story, passing down the lessons of hope and courage from one generation to the next.